The actual numbers, the basic math of Bailout Palooza, are kind of hard to keep track of. What did $20 billion look like? If you were going to stuff $20 billion in $100 bills into a black bag, all cat burglar in the movie style, how big would that bag have to be? Would it be like a Ford Econoline or a McMansion or like the size of Hoover Dam? I don't know. But for most of us, these specific numbers are almost a moot point when we get talking about numbers this big. But there are ways to keep score and ask big questions like, how much are we going to give banks and lenders before it becomes stupid and unconscionable that we're not also keeping non-financial companies, say manufacturers, something to keep them alive as well? Over the weekend, Citigroup got its $20 billion. Woohoo! Wall Street got happy drunk on that news. The Dow soared. Everybody who could indicate in some measurable way indicated that the Citi bailout was a good thing. Then, in the cold, sober light of Tuesday, we saw some pushback against that. Economist Paul Krugman wrote in the New York Times, quote, "A bailout was necessary, but this bailout is an outrage. A lousy deal for the taxpayers, no accountability for management." Krugman also speculated, the way Nobel laureates do, that Citigroup may be back for another fix of taxpayer cash sometime soon. Also uninspired by the government's largesse, some smaller banks around the country whose troubles have been largely ignored during the orgy of big bank rescuing. The little guys get swallowed up by the bigger guys, not rescued by the feds. So, on the scoreboard, if you're a big bank, no matter what kind of really stupid business made you broke, the government's got your back. $20 billion? Sure. You got direct deposit, or do we have to cut you a check? On the other hand, there's, say, the auto industry. General Motors has already extended its normal Christmas-time production shutdown deeper into January, trying to save cash as the company fights for its financial life. The holdup on the auto industry bailout? Nominally, it's the government demanding a retrofitted, modernized American car business. And that doesn't just mean electric vehicles. The Big Three's financial trouble has turned into what I think is an open season on organized labor. Here's a bit of that logic from Mark Kirk, Republican congressman from Illinois.
When some employees have a right to 120 days of vacation time, that is not, I worry that unless properly structured, this is a bailout of the United Auto Workers, not General Motors.
Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina is going even a little further, going with the Union Democrat conspiracy route. He said this, quote, "We have the unions paying off the Democrats with their votes and the Democrats paying off the unions with this auto bailout." So auto workers are the fat cats here, and the bozos who turned the entire banking business into a Three Stooges pie fight, they've got access to a spigot running hot and cold oodles of taxpayer cash? I'm sorry, but this sounds like the worst kind of class warfare, being fought against the blue-collar class. I think I may need a talking down here. Here to try to talk me down is Ron Gettelfinger, who is the president of the United Auto Workers. Mr. Gettelfinger, thank you for joining us. I know you are a very busy man these days.
Well, thank you, Rachel, and thank you for having the UAW on your show.
Happy to. Do you want to try to talk me down on my thesis here? I'm worried that the need for a Big Three bailout is being used as an excuse by some to really take a punch at the unions when you guys are in a very vulnerable place.
Well, there's no question, Rachel, that there are some people that would take that position. But look, the auto industry is 4% of our gross domestic product. And if you look at the industrial production is about 10% of the value of industrial work. So, sure, there's some people that are shooting at unions in this, but this is not about the UAW. This is about America. It's not only about Main Street, but it's about side streets. We need to give the industry a bridge loan to get us over this economic downturn.
I'm worried, in addition, that even if there is a bailout, even if the Big Three does succeed in getting this sort of bridge loan to the future, I'm worried that if the political dialogue sets up unions as the bad guys in the auto industry, if you guys take the blame, then even if they do get this emergency funding, there won't be anything in it to keep them, say, from moving their operations offshore, finding some cheap no labor laws country to make their cars in. Are you worried at all about that?
Well, I think there'll be provisions in there that will require them to do the production here in the United States. But look, the people that want to say that the unions are the bad guys here, look at our safety record. Look at the quality of the products we're building. Look at the productivity. You know, we have set the benchmark in many of those areas today. And additionally, where they say that unions are the problem here, the UAW especially, we went into contract negotiations mid-contract 2005 and made major concessions to help our industry. We came back in 2007 and we also made major concessions. The men and women of the UAW stood up, stepped up to the plate to help our industry. This economic downturn is not the fault of the auto workers. It's not the fault of the auto industry. We need a low-interest bridge loan, and this is not a bailout. The industry is going to pay the loan back.
After you made those last rounds of pretty big concessions, how close did that bring into alignment the labor costs for American vehicles and the labor costs for foreign vehicles? Are they getting closer? By the end of these contracts, will they be close?
Oh, absolutely. Rachel, we've closed the gap a lot, and it's unfortunate in a way that we've had to do that, but we understand the need to be competitive. But, you know, when we're talking about the changes that we've made in our contracts to help our companies be productive, the fact that we work with the companies every day. Our vice presidents are sitting at the bargaining table, working with the company to make sure that productivity's up. Our local union leadership is working with the management at the facilities. We are there. We have current operating agreements in place, and I agree that the critics that taking on the unions here are totally wrong. And there are so many misconceptions out there that it's unbelievable.
Mr. Gettelfinger, one last question. Are you at the UAW and the management broadly in agreement about some of the proposed strings that might come with this funding? Things like encouragements toward fuel-efficient vehicles and management changes and restrictions on other ways that the companies do their business and the type of arrangements they have with your union members. Are you and management in agreement with what you're bringing to Congress in terms of the proposal here?
Well, I think part of the problem is we're still trying to determine what is required before the Congress, but additionally, the company is responsible to put the plan together. And yes, the commitment to green is there. And, you know, again, that's a big falsehood that exists, that the industry has not moved forward with advanced technology vehicles, when in fact they have. And it may shock you, Rachel, to know that the Chevy Tahoe was the green car of the year. I mean, come on, the industry has moved a lot in that area. And look, every one of them has got great products that they're moving forward with, but we can't get those products out there if we don't get this loan, and we have to get this loan when Congress comes back into session on December the 8th. It is urgent that we do that.
You will forgive me for my shocked silence at the Chevy Tahoe revelation. I was imagining one perched on top of a few Priuses there and imagining the sort of the ad there. Ron Gettelfinger, President of the United Auto Workers, thank you for coming on the show tonight, sir, and good luck in these difficult times.
Thank you very much, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks.